I never thought I'd be the kind of woman who could destroy a family. But here I am, sitting alone in a tiny apartment, replaying every moment that led me here. It started so innocently. I met Claire in college. She was my best friend, the kind of friend who'd show up at your place with ice cream and cheap wine after a bad breakup. Her family practically adopted me. I spent weekends at their beautiful suburban house, lounging by their pool, eating homemade pasta Claire's mom made, and laughing with her younger brother about stupid TikTok trends. And then there was him. Mr. Carter. He was the kind of dad every girl secretly crushed on. Tall, fit for his age, salt and pepper hair, and a voice that sent chills down my spine. He owned a small real estate firm, always dressed sharp, always smelled like expensive cologne and leather. I didn't think much of it at first. He was just Claire's dad, off limits, untouchable, a man with a family, a man with a wife. But something changed the summer after we graduated. Claire and I had just turned 22, officially adults, officially ready to conquer the world. One night, we were at her house, celebrating her brother's birthday. The house was packed, the music loud, and drinks flowed freely. Claire's mom was in the kitchen, laughing with a group of neighbors. Claire had disappeared somewhere with her latest Tinder fling. And me? I was by the pool, feet dipped in the water, staring at the stars when I felt his presence beside me. Mind if I join? His voice was smooth, effortless. I nodded, heart racing. We talked. Just small talk at first. But then, the conversation drifted into deeper waters, life, regrets, dreams. He told me how he met Claire's mom at 19, married too young, never got to live the life he wanted. You're lucky, you know, he said, eyes locked onto mine. You still have time to figure it all out. And then he touched my knee. Just a fleeting touch, but enough to send a jolt through my body. That night, I couldn't sleep. Was I imagining things? Was it just harmless? But deep down, I knew. There was something there. Over the next few weeks, our interactions grew bolder. Accidental brushes in the hallway. Lingering eye contact across the dinner table. Private texts, innocent at first, then not so much. The first time it happened was in his office. Claire had gone out, and I had stopped by to pick up something I left at their house. He was there, alone, sipping whiskey. I can't stop thinking about you, he admitted, his voice low. Neither could I. What started as stolen kisses turned into secret meetups. Cheap motels. Late-night drives. It was electric. Dangerous. Addictive. And the worst part? I didn't feel guilty. Not at first. But secrets don't stay secrets forever. Claire's mom found the messages first. A simple, "Can't wait to see you tonight," was all it took for her world to crumble. She confronted him, then Claire. And then Claire came to me. "Tell me this isn't true," she begged, eyes red, voice shaking. I couldn't. I just stood there, silent, ashamed, selfish. I watched as everything fell apart. Her parents separated. Claire cut me off. Their perfect little family, destroyed. And for what? A love that was never meant to last. Now, sitting here alone, I wonder, was it worth it? Maybe in another life, we could have had something real. But in this one, all I have are the pieces of a life I shattered. The worst part about losing everything? The silence that follows. After Claire found out, after her mom packed her bags and left, after the screaming and crying, there was nothing. No more messages from Claire, no more casual weekend visits to their home. Just an empty, aching void where my best friend and her family used to be. I should have felt guilt. I should have begged for forgiveness. But the truth? I missed him more than I missed Claire. I knew it was wrong. I knew it should have ended the moment it started. But how do you walk away from something that makes your heart beat like that? From someone who looks at you like you're the only person in the world? For a while, I thought we could still make it work. That somehow, after all the damage, there was still a future for us. We'll figure this out, he promised me one night, his hands gripping mine like he was afraid I'd slip away. I wanted to believe him. We kept seeing each other, but it wasn't the same. The thrill was gone, replaced by whispers and pointed fingers. His son wouldn't look me in the eye. Claire had blocked me everywhere. And his wife? She was gone, but she wasn't really gone. Her presence lingered in the empty spaces of his house, in the half-packed boxes he hadn't touched, in the framed wedding photos he hadn't taken down. She'll never forgive me, he admitted one night, staring at his wedding ring, which he still hadn't taken off. That was the moment it hit me. I had ruined a family for something that was never real. I tried to hold on, but I felt it slipping. The late-night texts slowed. The "I miss you"s turned into silence. He started canceling plans. He became distant, like he was trying to rewrite history, trying to pretend I was never part of his life. Then one night, it happened. I showed up at his house unannounced. I knocked. No answer. I knocked again. And then, through the window, I saw her. Claire's mom. Sitting at the kitchen table, holding his hand. He had chosen her. I felt something inside me crack. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just turned around and walked away, because deep down, I knew this was how it was always going to end. He had never been mine to begin with. And Claire? She had been my real love story all along. My sister, my best friend, the person I should have chosen over him. But some mistakes can't be undone. Some bridges can't be rebuilt. Now, I sit in this tiny apartment, staring at my phone, resisting the urge to type out a message I know she'll never answer. Maybe one day, I'll be brave enough to tell her I'm sorry. But not today. Some nights, I still dream about him. Not the way it ended, not the guilt, not the betrayal, just him. His voice, his hands, the way he made me feel like I was the only woman in the world. And when I wake up, for a split second, I forget. Then reality hits, and I remember that I lost everything. I spent the next few months in a haze. Drinking too much. Sleeping too little. Swiping through dating apps, hoping to feel something, anything, but every man felt like a cheap imitation of the one I wasn't supposed to love. I thought about leaving town. Moving somewhere new, where no one knew me as the girl who ruined the Carters. But running wouldn't erase the shame. It wouldn't bring Claire back. And then, one night, I saw her. I was at a coffee shop, scrolling through my phone, when she walked in. Claire. My stomach twisted. She looked the same but different, stronger, colder. She didn't notice me at first, but when our eyes met, I saw it. The flicker of pain, the hesitation, the moment she decided whether to walk away or acknowledge me. She chose to acknowledge me. She walked up to my table, arms crossed, eyes unreadable. So. You still in town? Not a question. A statement. I swallowed hard. Yeah. Silence. I could have apologized. Should have. But what do you say when sorry isn't enough? How's your mom? I asked instead. She exhaled sharply. Trying to fix something that shouldn't be fixed. So he had chosen her. But had she chosen him back? I wanted to ask, but I didn't deserve to. She studied me, waiting for me to say something, waiting for me to fall apart or beg or justify it. Instead, I whispered, I miss you. Her jaw clenched. I saw the flicker of something in her eyes, anger, sadness, nostalgia. For a second, I thought she might sit down. That maybe, just maybe, there was still a thread of something left between us. But then she straightened. "You don't get to miss me." And with that, she turned and walked away. I watched her go, and for the first time since this all started, I let myself cry. Because she was right. I didn't get to miss her. I had made my choice. And now, I had to live with it. People always talk about heartbreak like it's a single, defining moment, one big, dramatic event that changes everything. But that's not how it happens. Heartbreak is slow. It's the quiet unraveling of something you thought would last forever. It's waking up every morning and realizing that the person you used to talk to about everything no longer wants to hear your voice. It's seeing their name in your phone and knowing you can never text them again. It's learning to live with the emptiness you created. After Claire walked out of that coffee shop, I knew I had lost her for good. I tried to move on. I deleted his number. Blocked him on everything. Threw away the hoodie I had stolen from his car that still smelled like him. But none of it erased the truth. I had destroyed a family. And for what? Mr. Carter and his wife tried to work things out, but I heard from mutual friends that it didn't last. She left for good this time, moving to another state to start fresh. Claire moved out too, cutting ties with both of them. She transferred to a different city for work, and the last thing I ever heard was that she was happy. Really happy. As for him, I saw him once more. It was late, maybe 2 in the morning, and I had stopped at a gas station after a night of bad decisions and too many drinks. I was standing in line, half asleep, when I felt it. That presence. I turned. And there he was. He looked different. Tired. Worn down. Like a man who had lost everything. For a second, neither of us spoke. Then, he gave me a sad smile. Hey. It was just one word, but it carried everything. The regret. The history. The weight of every mistake we had made. I wanted to say something, ask if he was okay, if he missed me, if he ever thought about what we could have been if we had met in another life. But I didn't. Instead, I just nodded. Hey. And then I paid for my gas, walked out, and never looked back. Some stories don't have happy endings. Some loves aren't meant to last. And some mistakes follow you forever. But life goes on. And so did I.